Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So on today's episode, I decided to show you how to make a whole baked chicken. There are two recipes for baked chicken on my channel for smaller kinds and different recipes. So I'm going to share another one with you today. So today we're going to make whole baked chicken with oranges inside as a stuffing. So now this is an awesome recipe because you can buy the chicken, you can keep it in the freezer. Once you decide to make it, just unfreeze it. I unfroze mine today. So just make it, and this dish can last you maybe a couple meals at least for 2 to 3 people because it's a whole chicken that you're baking. It is not hard to make. It does take some time in the oven, but it's a nice meal to have. So let's start with the ingredients. So of course, like I mentioned, the first thing you're gonna need is a whole chicken. And this is just whole chicken that we unfroze and washed and pat dry with paper towels. You're also going to need, like I mentioned, oranges just for the stuffing inside. You're gonna need 2 kinds of oil. So use some kind of avocado oil or olive oil as well as some sesame oil. And you're gonna need a whole bunch of spices. So we're gonna need salt and pepper. We're going to need some rosemary, some ginger, some paprika, some all-purpose seasoning, or you can just use dry parsley instead of this, but I like this mix because it has other herbs like thyme, parsley, dry onion, so it's a lot of things inside here. You're also going to need some basil and some dry garlic. And the last thing I'm gonna mention, if you want a little bit of a kick to your chicken, add some cayenne pepper, so some kind of red pepper. I don't seem to have any today because we don't go shopping much anymore, so of course I ran out. But so that's all the ingredients. And if you don't like some of the spices, you can interchange some of them, but I really suggest sticking with the paprika. Don't change paprika to anything. If you don't like rosemary, you can skip on that. You can also add some dry onion to this as well. You can use fresh garlic instead of dry garlic if you have. So there's a few options. So let me show you how to work the chicken. So before I begin, while my hands are still clean, let's work on the oranges. So all you want to do is you want to peel your oranges, and I just peel mine with a knife like this. I just go around and just peel like this, kind of in a circular motion all around. And you want to remove as much of the orange peel as well as the white peel for both oranges. And for this recipe, you want to use as many oranges just to kind of stuff the inside of the chicken. So depending on the size of your chicken and the size of your oranges. So now I'm using 2 of the medium to smaller size oranges today. So after removing the orange peel, I just go around and remove as much as I can of this white peel as well. We don't need the peel. So now we just need to cut your orange just into small chunks. So you can cut any way you like, just small chunks that can fit inside the chicken cavity. That's all. So I'm just gonna pretty much just cube mine like this. Okay, so just 2 oranges diced. Let's just keep it on the side and let's work on sort of the marinade we're gonna use on our chicken. Okay, so for the marinade, just get out a small glass bowl, just some measuring spoons and a whisk so we can just mix it all together. So let's start with our oils. So for the avocado oil, I'm gonna use 3 tablespoons. Next thing I'm gonna do is add some sesame oil. So I'm just gonna do 1 tablespoon because it's a pretty flavorful oil. Okay, the rest of the ingredients are gonna be with a teaspoon. Okay, so let's add our spices. The first thing I'm gonna add is the paprika, and I am gonna use 1.5 teaspoon of paprika. I'm going to add black pepper and salt just by the eye, and I also always like to add more salt once we marinate the chicken, just because I don't know how much salt to put into a marinade. It may be hard to decide, so I always add some more at the end. So just black pepper by the eye and just salt by the eye. Next thing I'm gonna add is 1/2 teaspoon of rosemary, or you can do close to a whole teaspoon, that's fine. I'm gonna add a whole teaspoon of all-purpose seasoning, 1/2 teaspoon of ginger, and I do like to use dry ginger in this recipe. And actually, if you're okay with ginger, ginger goes well with a lot of the chicken dishes. I'm going to add 1/2 teaspoon of basil, and I'm gonna add a whole teaspoon of dry garlic. So that's everything that's going inside our marinade. So the next thing you want to do is just mix it all together. Just mix it really well. And you can always taste this marinade and see if there's any kind of spice that you want to add, maybe a little bit more. You can always add a little bit more oil if you feel like it wasn't enough marinade to cover your chicken, because we are gonna brush this marinade on the chicken inside and outside as well. Okay, so the next step, you want to take your chicken. Like I mentioned, it is washed and dried with paper towels. You do want it dry, so we're not mixing this marinade with all the water. So now you just want to go ahead and brush this marinade all over your chicken on the outside and the inside as well. So I'm gonna brush the outside, and then I'm gonna place it into a container and then brush the other side and the inside. And after you do that, you want to take the container, cover it, and place it in the fridge. I would say minimum like 3 to 5 hours, but best is to go overnight. So let this marinate for a whole night if you have time. Now, of course, I have guests coming over today, so I'm just gonna cook mine as is today. I'm just gonna brush it and cook it right away. So let's start just brushing this over. If you want, you can wear some gloves and just brush it over your chicken with your hands. I'm gonna use a brush today. So just like that, you go ahead and brush this marinade all over your chicken. And like I mentioned, I am gonna just salt the chicken a little bit more on top. Okay, so after brushing the outside, I just take some salt and just go ahead and salt this chicken a little bit more. So like I mentioned, you would take right now like sort of a plastic container that you can cover with some saran wrap or some kind of a mixing bowl where you can place the chicken to marinate. I'm not doing that, so I'm going right away ahead. I'm not gonna wait for the marinade. So I'm just gonna take a baking dish. So I'm using a glass baking dish, and I do like to line mine with parchment paper just so the chicken doesn't stick and it's easier to clean up, like I always mention. And then I'm just gonna take some tongs and I'm just gonna place it into a baking dish. So once your chicken marinated and it's ready to be baked, you do the same. So you take it out, place it into, of course you want to take it out like an hour at least before you want to cook it, so it comes up to room temperature a little bit. And once you're ready, you're going to place it into a baking dish as well, just like I'm doing now. And then just go ahead, brush the other side with the marinade as well, and the inside cavity as well, so we have flavor on both sides. And then add salt. And of course, once you're ready to start baking the chicken, while you're just preparing it and putting it into a dish, make sure you're warming up your oven. So my oven is on baking mode with a fan. So I'm at 400 degrees. So I'm just warming it up to 400 degrees for now. This chicken will take a total of about 1.5 hours to bake. So we're gonna bake 1 hour covered with foil so you don't burn the skin and everything. And you do place it breast up. After about an hour, you're gonna remove the foil. You're gonna bake 20 more minutes. And then for the last 10 minutes, I like to bring up my temperature to 450 to really crisp up and just get it like nice and golden brownish at the top. So just the inside as well. Okay, so salt on the outside and try and get some salt on the inside as well. So the next thing you wanna do is take your oranges, and I'm just gonna use a big tablespoon. And you're just gonna start pushing all those oranges inside the cavity. Okay, so once all the oranges are inside, you just wanna take the 2 feet together and connect them with either some kind of twine or metal pick. And just place some foil on top and it goes right into the oven. Okay everyone, so the chicken is now ready. So it's been in the oven for 1.5 hours total. So like I said, remove foil after 1 hour, and then just the last 10 minutes cook without foil. So you see it gets this golden, nice brown color. So this is baked chicken with oranges stuffed inside. So I hope you try and make this dish. Like I said, you can split this dish into a few meals. So it's worth your money, of course. It is valuable, and I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Thank you so much for watching like always, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.